Hello, y'all. I just want to make a quick video going over the 2021 election in Virginia, in New Jersey, in New York City. I'm not gonna really talk that much about the New York City one because the Democrat won, obviously, but I'll be mentioning Minneapolis and yeah, but first the New Jersey one, which I think. Hold on. Virginia, I gotta get to New Jersey. But what I do know, I was up because, okay, I got into politics. So right now, he's winning by 0.8%. That's, I need to talk about that in 1 second. Before I got into politics in 2016 when Donald Trump was elected. Back to the important things. New Jersey is way closer than anyone expected. Like, oh my gosh. The polls had him up at 7.8%, and even the closest was at 1%, but that was a month ago. So, but the latest polls, hold on. Whoa. Okay, April, September, October. No. So the latest poll had him up by 6 points, and he's gonna barely edge out, probably gonna barely edge out a 1% if that lead over Jack Dorsey. Because look at this map, y'all. It just, I love it. Because think about it, in New Jersey in 2017, they got a good 14% margin. So to go from 14% down to 1% at most. But also, he carried over all of his votes from 4 years ago. Between Jackson, really, he's increased his votes. Like that sounds very basic and obvious, but Phil Murphy hasn't gained any voters since the last time. But yeah, that's a nice one to look at. Phil Murphy is probably gonna be reelected, but it really is one of the signs of the Republicans doing really good in the midterms. Because yes, when the presidential approval rating is at 30s, it affects the party as a whole, and also because their Democratic trifecta, their previous Democratic trifecta, was able to pass things. This one is not able to pass things, but also their previous Democratic trifecta after 2008 was super majority in the Senate for a second, and even when it wasn't a super majority, it was still a lot of a majority. And in Virginia, the official race, Darren McAuliffe not succeeded. Darren McAuliffe conceded. Is that what it is? Conceded the race. But Glenn Youngkin with 2.5%. That is over the tilt margin. So I'm like, yo, because everyone thought that this would be like a tilt margin race. It would be at most a person would win by 1%. But no, again, these polls not that they're oversampling Democrats, because especially in New Jersey, my God. But in Virginia, it wasn't by as much in Virginia, but it was still a good because hold on, the polls by the end, the average by these three polls, the average was Youngkin 1.4, so they still got it off by about 1%, which I think is good for the polls nowadays, because if we know anything about 2016 and 2020, it just wasn't. They just weren't there. But a general thing, a general overview, Terry McAuliffe, it was a previous governor of Virginia. He ran because in Virginia you can't run twice consecutively. You have to wait 4 years before you run again. Terry did that. His campaign was all about, first it was all about Trump. That's what he did. He made it all about Trump. And then when Glenn Youngkin said, "I'm not Trump, I'm not going to make this national," because the last time that a campaign went national for a winner, for a Republican, it didn't like against the Republican, it didn't go well. Looking at you, California. But Glenn Youngkin didn't let it go national. He kept it to the state and the state's issue of critical race theory being taught in schools. Because yes, it is being taught in schools. That it's just a fact. It's been shown over and over. But Glenn Youngkin getting, and by the way, I did the calculations, and it's Terry obviously didn't get nowhere. He lost he lost 800,000 votes between Biden and McAuliffe, and he only carried 66.7%. He just under 2/3 of the votes he carried from Biden to him. Like if he got the same, because Glenn Youngkin got 85.5% of the votes that Trump got. So if Terry also had 85.5, oh, he would have blizzed out the water. He would have won with like a 5+ point margin, but he didn't. And that's the thing is that his and Glenn Youngkin, oh my goodness, he did a really good campaign. He really did. He didn't bite back his way. He made an ad, right? Because it was something about how the former president Barack Obama had talked about his basketball skills or something, and Glenn Youngkin responded in a funny way by challenging the former president to a basketball match. I'm like, that's the type of. It doesn't. We don't need to be calling each other racist when we obviously know we're not, and we don't need to be. I'm like, this is a Virginia gubernatorial election. It's not no federal election. We do not need to make that. If anyone watches this, I just want to we need to understand that we need to stop federalizing elections. Like we need to stop making everything be about who's the guy in office and is he like the guy in office. Like no, because Phil Scott from Vermont and Larry Hogan from Maryland, and the Massachusetts governor that was Republican, they're not like Trump. I don't imagine the Kansas Joe Manchin is not like Joe Biden. Well, they have the same first name. Kirsten Sinema is not like Joe Biden. The Kansas governor is probably not like Joe Biden because she's a Democrat. It was a whole thing. But following this, I will make a best case scenario video because I do want to make a best case scenario video for the Republicans. And after this, like my Senate prediction, I think was already probably 52, 53 for the Republicans. But now I'm going to get it up to like we're gonna get. Yes, I do vote Republican on a lot of things. When I can vote, I will vote Republican. I do, like I said in one of my previous videos, I am center right, so I do not agree with Democrats. But you know, if there was a Democrat that was like a moderate, like an actual moderate, yeah, no, I would consider voting for them. Anyways, point is, basically, Glenn Youngkin was great. He focused on education, which, especially in Virginia, it's a big thing. It's a big thing. And he revealed what, is actually going on in the schools. And he said, I'm going to listen to you, you being suburban parents. Like, I will listen to you. And instead of the Democrats, because Terry McAuliffe literally told like a good chunk of Virginia, like the parents and the parent vote, he just said, I'm not going to listen to you. Like you don't get to, and I said, you don't get to run our education system. I said, okay then. But also something to note in this is that I believe Terry only got over 60% in like, 10 counties out of over 60, at least 60 counties. Like, where's the election stuff? Where? Oh, also, Mount Raised. Yeah, no, Glenn Youngkin got more. But now I want to see where he got it. Because that's something. But anyways, this was big for the Republican Party because Virginia was heading. It's been trending left ever since 2008. Ever since Barack Obama put effort into getting Virginia, and he got Virginia, and it's been Democrat ever since. The last time a Republican won a gubernatorial election, as everyone says, like, I know that this is probably your 12th video on this, but yeah, it was like 2009, and so ever since the 2013 election, so yeah, for the past 8 years, they've had Democrats in their state legislature, and it's just, we need a healthy balance of the parties in states. That's my personal my personal opinion, but yeah, education, public health, cultural issues, the banning of critical race theory, that is just, it's a thing. It just is a thing. And his pushback against COVID-19 restrictions. Oh my goodness. Republicans, by the way, this is a, like, the last race was an 8.9. So a 10-point shift to the right for, wait, is that 10 point? 8.9 and 2.5. So it's like a 10, 11, 10 to 11 or 11, well, 10 to 11 and a half point shift to the right. But the point is, this does again show, like, we could get Nevada, we're getting Arizona back. Okay, no, wait. The Republican Party is going to probably flip with Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia in the Senate, New Hampshire, if Chris Sununu runs. At this point, even if Chris Sununu doesn't run, it could flip Nevada, like I said. We could even flip Colorado, for God's sakes. But Colorado's a stretch. It is a stretch. But yeah, it was very exciting. I was staying up. I stayed up till 11 p.m., which is early for me. But yeah, I stayed up watching it, and it's amazing. It's just amazing because now it obviously, Virginia does also has a history. Something I'm noticing that nobody's talking about, but historically, Virginia does vote the opposite of the incumbent president. So except for in 2013, in 2009 they voted for a Republican. In 2005, I imagine they voted for a Democrat. In 2001, I imagine they voted for a Democrat. But in 2017, they voted for a Democrat. In 2009, like I said, they voted for a Republican. So Virginia doesn't like incumbents, it seems. And even when it did vote for Biden by over 10 points, there's still a Republican base in Virginia, and the Republicans can win. But also, this is something that has to be said, is that while if I could have, I would have voted for Trump twice, but I just think that at this point, and this is coming from someone who, would vote for Republicans, like, if I could, I would have voted for Republicans my whole life. I'm not coming at this from a left-wing point of view. I'm coming at this as a person who wants to make the party better and who wants to push the party in a better direction. Like, I'm sorry, but Trump is just not. We need to move on, and not from Trump's ideas, but from Trump's attitude. Like that's why between Trump and Ron DeSantis, I'm like, I personally, I'm rooting for Josh Hawley. I'd love it if Josh Hawley was the 2024 Republican candidate, but that's just me. But going back to this, these really, I don't know what happened just now. Like, the video just cut off, but what I was about to say is that to summarize with the maps, 2017, 2021, 2021. Oh my goodness, my voice. Basically, he just ran up the margins in the West, and Democrats, oh my god, and Democrats just didn't turn out in. Is this Nova Beach? Not Nova Beach. It's Virginia Beach, and basically didn't turn out. It didn't turn out. Oh my gosh, I need to just speak properly, but yeah, he ran up the margins in the West, and so he didn't actually flip as many counties as I thought. Oh, and he flipped obviously all of these and that, and almost flipped that. I remember because these, I think were like 51, 50, and 50 something. Like they were within 5 points, I believe. These counties. So he almost got like all of this south a bit, the southernmost, and he got all of them, like this western tip of the state. He got a lot of the central part of the state, and he even got all of this, other than obviously this strip. Because even in 2017, like in 2017 it went, but in 2017 it didn't go to the Republican as hard as it did for Glenn Youngkin. But yeah, overview, this just shows the Republican momentum, mainly because Democrats are just not going to turn out, because they've had to turn out in 2018. They really have had to turn out in 2016, 2018, and 2020, but mainly in 2018, 2020. And this is always what happens, by the way. It's nothing new for when a party has to turn out in a midterm and then in a presidential election, then they get, and especially if their guy is in office, they get voter fatigue. Like, it's a thing. And so the Democrats who voted in 2018 and in 2017, like in Virginia, voted in 2017, 2018, and 2020, and seeing the Democrat just not being able to pass anything, and Terry McAuliffe's very just horrendous campaigning, they just didn't show up. And but yeah, that's gonna be my video. This will be uploaded on Thursday, the 4th, and I already have next Tuesday and Wednesday's video recorded, and I'm gonna go record next Thursday's video now. So I'll see you then.